Good morning to all of you. Very good morning to you. Am I audible or not?
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning. So
Morning, sir.
we have 82 attendees now. So we'll wait for 1 minute more and then I will start. Okay. In the meanwhile, let me share the screen. So I hope that this screen is visible to all of you. And today we will discuss the types of routing, like what are the algorithms available. So we'll start with the shortest path routing algorithm. So we will discuss shortest path routing algorithm, distance vector routing algorithm, link state routing algorithm, flooding algorithm, hierarchical routing algorithm, and broadcast routing. Broadcast routing, it is a flooding. So we'll discuss 4 different algorithms today, and those algorithms are the algorithms they are developed for routing only. So yes, 93 attendees are there. Please keep notebook and pen with you, because the numbers of slides are around 40 to 45 slides are there under the routing types or routing techniques, but I will go very quickly, okay, and I will try to explain you the fundamental aspects of those routing algorithm. So please keep notebook and pen with you so that you can write the important points and later on you can relate those points with the presentation. And if you have any doubt during the presentation, you can immediately ask, or you can type the message in chat so that I can read your message and I can provide you the answer. Okay, please don't hesitate. If you have any question at any given point of time, you can ask me. So we have 98 attendees, okay, 100 attendees now. So let me start the recording and let me start the session. Okay, so recording is started now. And we have 103 participants now. So without wasting time, let me start this session. In the last session, we have discussed, or we have compared static routing with dynamic routing, and I hope that you have the idea that dynamic routing is the automatic process. It is the automatic process in which dynamic routing algorithms are there. Dynamic routing protocols are working behind the implementation of dynamic routing, and in static routing, it is a manual process. So network administrator is involved, and it is the responsibility of network administrator to append the entries in the routing table. So before we go and discuss the optimality principle, okay, optimality principle, it means you can see 2 different topologies are available on your screen. In the first topology, nodes are connected with the other nodes by having all possible routes, okay, all possible routes are included. So node A is connected with B, F, D. Node G is connected with D, L and H. In the next, or in the second topology, which is known as the optimal topology, redundant links are removed, and optimal route, you can see optimal route, it means from source to destination, you can form the tree rooted at the destination. So the point is, the important thing is in the left topology. Okay, you have two topologies available on your screen. So the leftmost side, whatever the topology which you have, that topology covers all possible links. All possible links are there, but in the rightmost topology, you can see redundant links are removed, but you can reach from any node to any node. This point is supported, so you can reach from A to M, you can reach from A to L. So all possible routes are covered, but redundant links are removed. And once you remove the redundant link, whatever the topology which is formed, the rightmost topology, that topology can be considered as optimal topology. Okay. So I have one question over here. What is routing table, and what do you mean by routing table for router A, B, C or any other router? So what is the need of routing table? Is there anyone who can explain me the requirement or the need of routing table? Right now we are discussing network layer chapter, and in network layer chapter, the most important point is routing table, because whether you are working or whether you are following static routing or you are following dynamic routing, in both the cases, if the routing table is not formed, if the routing table is not available in any router, then that router is not able to participate in the routing. Okay, so if B's routing table is blank, then B is not able to forward the data to any other router. B, after accepting the packet, B will drop the packet because B has no entry available in the routing table. So what is routing table? What do you mean by routing table, and what are the minimum numbers of entries available in the routing table? Is there anyone who can explain me? Please explain me, what do you mean by routing table? What is routing table? Yes. Do you have any idea about what do you mean by routing table? Routing table is required in all the router. Please listen me carefully and you can write this point if the question is asked, like compare static routing and dynamic routing. So routing table is the table which is followed by router whenever the router receives any packet. So once the router receives the packet, router checks the routing table, and in the routing table 3 entries are required by default, minimum 3. The first is destination network, second is next hop, and third is cost. Okay, destination network, next hop and cost, minimum 3 entries are required in the routing table. So routers are following the routing table. Once the router receives the packet, it will check the destination network in the routing table, then it will check the associated next hop, and then it will check the cost, and then it will forward the packet. So routers are equipped with the routing table, and router follows routing table. Now in static routing, routing table is created by network administrator. In dynamic routing, routing table is created by the dynamic routing protocol. So you have learned OSPF protocol and RIP protocol in the lab session. So OSPF protocol and RIP protocol, they are responsible for creating the routing table in dynamic routing. In static routing, network administrator has to append the entry in the routing table. So static routing follows manual process, and manually routing table is created. In dynamic routing, it is automatic process. It is an automatic process. So routing table is created by the dynamic routing protocol like RIP and OSPF. So I have received one response. So you have various house in a society. It is important for you to send correct post to correct house. So you need a table which maps owner of house with house number. Okay. See, in networking, if you want to send data to any destination, then you require the information about the destination in intermediate node. Okay, intermediate nodes should be aware about the destination. Then and then you can forward the packet. Then and then you can forward the data. So if I am forwarding a packet to the nearest router, then that nearest router must have the information about the destination. So router requires that information in the routing table. If the information regarding the destination network is not available in the routing table, then router is not able to forward the data. So whatever the response which I have received, it is correct. Information is required in the intermediate node, and without that information you cannot forward the data. Now let me discuss the first routing algorithm, that is shortest path routing algorithm, and this algorithm is also known as Discra's algorithm. So to calculate the shortest path, you can follow two approaches. One is you can follow the number of hop, okay, number of intermediate devices from source to destination. If you have two paths available, in path 1 you have 2 intermediate node, in path 2 you have 10 intermediate node, then path 1 is preferred, because in path 1 only 2 intermediate nodes are there, 2 hops are there. Okay, so this is one way by which you can establish, or this is one way by which you can find the shortest path. And second method is you can calculate the length, you can calculate the distance. So you can see, if you want to reach from A to D, then you can assign some cost, you can assign some cost to each and every link. So A to B link, it has cost equals to 2. So that cost value, this cost value 2 can be assigned by measuring the distance between A and B. This cost value can be assigned by finding the available bandwidth. This cost value can be assigned by finding the delay between link A and B. So there are multiple network parameters which you can follow. You can use delay, you can use bandwidth, you can use any other technique like length you can consider. So ultimately you can follow any parameter, but after following that parameter you can assign the weightage to each and every link. So weightage between A and B is 2, weightage between A and G is 6. So 6 is the cost to reach from A to G, 2 is the cost to reach from A to B. Now if I want to send data from A to D, okay, if I want to send the data from A to D, then you have to find the path through which we can send data to D, and that path should have very least cost involved. Okay, you have to find the cheapest path, least costliest path. So if you send data from A to B initially, then the cost is 2. Now if you send data from B to E, then cost is 2 plus 2. It means to reach at E from A to E, the total cost is 4. Okay, A to B and B to E. Similarly, the destination is D. Now from E, if you send data to G, you can send data from E to F. You can send data from E to G or E to F. Two options are there only. So ultimately you have to do the summation of the total, like the cost, and then to reach at D, you have to find the path in which very less cost is involved. So this is known as Discra's algorithm, shortest path routing algorithm, shortest path algorithm. So you can see initially you can send data to B, then you can send data to E. So I have already said, if you reach from A to E, then the total cost is 4 and the previous node is B. Okay, E in the bracket 4 comma B indicates 4 is the total cost and the previous link was B. Then you can send data to F. Now the total cost is 6 to reach from A to F and the previous node is E. Then now you can send data to H, total cost is 8 next, or the previous link was F. So what do you think? If I send data from A to B, B to E, E to F, F to H and H to D, is it the shortest path available in this particular topology? This is only the shortest path available, yes or no, in terms of distance if we consider? If you send data from A to B, B to C, C to E, sorry, C to D. If you send data from A to B, B to C and C to D, then the total cost is 2 plus 7 plus 3. It means 12. Yes or no? If you send data from A to B, B to C, C to D, then the total cost is 12. If you send data from A to G, G to H, H to D, then the total cost is again 12. So the goal of Discras algorithm, the goal of shortest path routing algorithm is to calculate the total distance, do the summation, and then whatever the path which is having very less cost, that path will be preferred for sending the data. This is known as Discras routing algorithm. So if you have any question, any query in the Discras routing algorithm, it is the most simple routing algorithm, then you can ask me. Do you have any query in this? We can follow number of hop as well as we can follow the length. The most optimum way is to follow length, because if the length is short, then we should consider that path first. So based on the length, if you select the next hop, then you can send data to destination very fast or very much faster. You can send the data. So this is all about Dijkstra's routing algorithm. In Dijkstra's routing algorithm, or in the shortest path routing algorithm, you have to assign the weightage to all the links, and weightage is assigned, and then you have to calculate the shortest path based on the length, based on the weightage, and then you have to follow that particular path for sending the data. This is Dijkstra's routing algorithm. Now the next algorithm is flooding algorithm. So in flooding algorithm, flooding it means broadcast. Okay, flooding it means broadcast or broadcasting. So flooding follows broadcast to neighbor. If I want to describe this flooding algorithm, then flooding follows broadcast to neighbor approach. So flooding is a static routing algorithm. Incoming packet is sent to or sent out on every outgoing line. Okay, every outgoing line. It means if you follow flooding algorithm, then A will send its routing table to B and G, because B and G are the neighbor of A. B and G are the neighbor of A. Now B will send the routing algorithm to C, E and A. So all the routers are sending the routing table to all outgoing lines. Okay, all outgoing lines. So in flooding, this statement is important. Incoming packet is sent out on every outgoing line. Okay, this is flooding. So can you tell me this? Why router should share the routing table with its neighbor? By sending the routing table to neighbor, what we can achieve? Or if we follow flooding approach, then how this flooding approach will work and how it can help to all the routers to get the information about the entire topology. So please tell me, in flooding approach, incoming packet is sent out on every outgoing line. This is the most important statement. So by following flooding, what we can achieve? Or what is flooding algorithm? Why router should share the routing table with its neighbor, with the neighbor routers? If A sends the routing table, refer this topology. A is sending the routing table to B and G. If we follow flooding, then A will send routing table to B and G. B will send routing table to A, E and C, because these are the neighbor routers of B. So by forwarding the routing table to the neighbor, what we can achieve? How we can create the routing table? By forwarding the routing table to the neighbors. How we can build the routing table? Because see, you all know very well, in routing, if you want to perform the routing, if you want to send data from any node to any node, then we have already discussed in the last session, all the routers should have the information about the entire topology. A should know B is there, E is there, G is there, F, C, H and D is there. So the point is we should follow the mechanism through which all routers should have the information about all other routers. And to achieve this, we have to exchange the routing table. Otherwise, we cannot achieve this. So initially A will inform to B. Now, whenever B will inform this to B will send the routing table to E, then B will append the information about A because B has received the information from A. Okay. Initially, B was aware of A, but E was not aware of A. So A has sent the routing table to B. Now B will send the routing table to E. So E will have the information about A now. Okay. So by exchanging the routing table, after some time, after the time of 5 seconds, 10 seconds, all the routers will have the information about all other routers. And through flooding approach, we can inform all the routers regarding the availability of all other routers in the topology. So in flooding, the drawback of flooding, it is what? It may generate the duplicate packets. So duplicate packets may be generated. You can see A has sent the routing table to B, B has sent the routing table to E. A has also sent the routing table to G and G will also send the routing table to E. So E will receive the information about A from B as well as G. Okay. A has sent the routing table to B. A has sent the routing table to G. B and G, they are informing E about the existence of A. So E has received the information about A from multiple routers. So in flooding approach, it may generate duplicate packets. Then we can follow the selective flooding approach as well, but you should not consider the selective flooding approach right now. You have to consider that incoming packet is sent out on every outgoing line. This is known as flooding. Now the flooding, we can apply the flooding for the topologies which are managing the military operation, for the distributed database application and for the wireless network. Flooding approach is helpful because in wireless network, in the topology which follows military operation, you all know very well distributed topology is there. Nodes are located at different places. Nodes are exchanging the data by following wireless communication. So in wireless communication, this flooding approach will help you because in wireless network, uncertainty is always exist. You all know very well, all the nodes are running on some power backup, some battery backup is there. But in wireless network, if the power backup is not available, or if the enough battery is not available, enough power is not available, then it is possible that that node may go down. Okay. So in wireless topology, in wireless network, chances are high that any node can be removed from the network because of the unavailability of power. So flooding approach is helpful for the wireless network, and in flooding approach, we are following almost all possible approaches, like almost all possible routing tables are considered, and every node is sending the routing table to the nearest router, to the nearby router. And this is only the way we have to follow in the uncertain topology, uncertain network. So do you have any query in the flooding routing, type of routing flooding?
No, sir.
So the next is distance vector routing algorithm. So in distance vector routing algorithm, do you know what is the difference between distance vector routing algorithm and link state routing algorithm? If it is already known to you, then we can skip it. Distance vector routing and link state routing algorithm. if I apply distance vector routing algorithm, please listen me carefully and please write this in your notebook. Routing is classified into two categories. I have already informed this in the last session. Two types are there: routing, static routing and dynamic routing. In dynamic routing, we have flooding approach available. In dynamic routing, see, flooding is a static routing process, but flooding happens at runtime. So in dynamic routing, routing is classified into static routing and dynamic routing. Dynamic routing is further classified into distance vector routing and link state routing. So distance vector routing and link state routing both are the types of dynamic routing only. You have already used RIP protocol and you have already used OSPF protocol during the lab session. So please remember this. RIP protocol follows distance vector routing mechanism and OSPF protocol follows link state routing mechanism. So if I apply distance vector routing algorithm for the topology which is available on your screen, then how the distance vector routing algorithm works and how the link state routing algorithm works. Let me show you the points first and then you have to tell me. Distance vector routing is a dynamic routing algorithm. Now, see, we should not refer the points which are available in this presentation because these points are not providing the enough clarity about what is distance vector routing and what is link state routing. So I request all of you to write two important points under distance vector routing and two important points under link state routing, and then we will discuss. Okay, then you can explain me how the distance vector routing works and how the link state routing works. So please write distance vector routing in your notebook. Please write distance vector routing in your notebook and write the two important points. Point number one. Point number one is every router shares routing table with its neighbor. In distance vector routing, these points are not available in this presentation. So I request all of you to write these 2 points. Point number one, in distance vector routing, every router shares its routing table with neighbor routers only. Point one, every router shares routing table with neighbor routers. And point number two, routing table is sent periodically. Routing table is sent periodically. Point number one, in distance vector routing, every router shares its routing table with neighbor routers only. And point number two, routing table is sent periodically. Routing table is sent periodically. Right now I am discussing distance vector routing, which is a type of dynamic routing. So point one, router shares routing table with neighbor only. And point two, routing table is sent periodically. So periodically sending routing table, it means if I write this periodic timer value, timer value is 5 seconds. Periodic timer value is 5 seconds. This is just an assumption. This is just an assumption. Periodic timer value can be any value. It can be 2 seconds. It can be 10 millisecond or any value we can consider. Okay, but that value should be there in terms of time. We have to consider time as the basic unit. So if the periodic timer value is 5 seconds, then can you please tell me that how the distance vector routing algorithm works for this topology? If I apply distance vector routing algorithm to the topology which is available on your screen, then how the distance vector routing algorithm works? You have to follow those 2 points. Point 1 is every router shares its routing table with neighbor routers only. And point 2 is routing table is sent periodically, and we have defined the value of the periodic timer equals to 5 seconds. So how the distance vector routing algorithm works for the topology which is available on your screen? Please provide me some input. Distance vector routing and link state routing. So we can follow distance vector or we can follow link state for our topology. You cannot follow the mix approach. So either you have to go with distance vector or you have to go with link state. So if I apply distance vector over here on the topology, which is there on your screen, then how A, B, C and all other routers will work if they follow distance vector routing. Periodic timer value is 5 seconds. Distance vector routing algorithm is a dynamic routing algorithm, and I have already explained. RIP protocol, routing information protocol follows distance vector routing algorithm. Okay, RIP protocol you have already implemented, you have already configured RIP protocol during the lab session. So distance vector routing algorithm, how does it works? Now please write link state routing algorithm, and then we will do the comparison between distance vector and link state. So in link state routing algorithm, please write point number 1, because if the basic difference is known to you, then you can draw the topology by your own and you can compare distance vector and link state by your own. So now please write link state routing in your notebook and write 2 important points. Point number 1, in the link state routing, every router shares routing table with all other routers in the topology. In link state routing, point number 1 is every router shares routing table with all other routers in the topology. So if I apply link state routing over here, then A is a router. A has to send the routing table to all other routers in the topology. So A has to broadcast the routing table to B, E, G, F, C, H and D. So A has to send how many copies of the routing table? How many routers are available in this topology? There are 8 routers, yes or no? A is a router.
Yes, sir.
So 8 routers are there. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. 8 routers are there. So A has to send 7 copies of routing table. Those 7 copies will be received by B, C, D, E, F, G and H. So A has to generate 7 copies if it follows link state routing. So in link state routing, point number 1 is every router has to send the routing table to all other routers in the topology. And second point is routing table is sent whenever some event occurs. Whenever some event occurs in the topology, so routing table is sent whenever some event occurs in the topology. So triggered routing update. If some event occurs, then we can say that some trigger is fired. So triggered routing updates are followed by link state routing. Let me repeat. Every router has to send the routing table to all other routers in link state routing. And point number 2 is routing table is sent whenever some event occurs in the topology. So listen me carefully. Initially, whenever you design the topology, initially for the first time, A has to send the routing table to B, C, D, E, F, G, H. But for the second time, initially A has to send, B has to send, C has to send. Every router they have to send. But for the next time, if A wants to send the routing table for the second time, then A will wait for what? Some event to occur in the topology. Like some event, it means what? If the link between A and B goes down, if you add one more router, so any topological change will lead to what? Some event. And if some event occurs, then second time that router A or the router which is affected, that router will send the routing table. So see, listen me carefully. Let me explain you. The topology is available on your screen. Right now I am discussing link state routing. Link state routing. Okay. In link state routing, A will send routing table to all other routers. B will send routing table to all other routers. So initially, for the first time, all routers will send the routing table to all other routers. But for the second time, if A wants to send the routing table, then A has to wait for some event. Okay, some event. So if the link between A and B goes down, that event is affecting router A and B, yes or no? If link between A and B goes down, then this event affects router A and B. So in that particular case, A will send routing table again to all other routers and B will send routing table to all other routers again, second time. But if the topology remains stable, if all links are available, then second time, no router will send routing table to any other router because topology is stable, topology is working well. So in link state routing, routing updates, routing table is sent based on some event. So routing table or routing updates are triggered, routing updates in link state routing algorithm. In distance vector routing algorithm, A will send the routing table. Listen me carefully. Now I am discussing distance vector. In distance vector routing, initially all routers will send the routing table to the neighbor routers. So A will send its routing table to B and G. I'm talking about distance vector routing. B will send routing table to A and C and E because for B, neighbor routers are A, E and C. For G, neighbor routers are E, A and H. So initially routers will send the routing table to the neighbor router, but second time in distance vector routing, second time when the routing table is sent after the expiration of the periodic timer, and that periodic timer value is 5 seconds. So after every 5 seconds in distance vector routing, the important parameter or the important timer is periodic timer, and the value of the periodic timer is 5 seconds. So once the routing table is sent to the neighbor, second time A will send the routing table to B and G after what? 5 seconds, because the periodic timer value is 5 seconds. B will send routing table to A, E and C after 5 seconds. So initially they have sent the routing table, but next time they will wait for the periodic timer to expire. And once the periodic timer expires, router will send the routing table to the neighbor again. So after every 5 seconds, all routers, they will send the routing table to their neighbor again and again and again. So if your topology is stable, if your topology is working properly, if it is in good condition, but still because of the periodic timer, all routers have to send the routing table to the neighbor after 5 seconds, because we have defined the value of the periodic timer equals to 5 seconds. In link state routing, initially all routers will send the routing table to all other routers, but for the second time, if they want to send the routing table, then they have to wait for some event. So can you please explain me now what is the difference between distance vector routing and link state routing? And do you have the idea about distance vector routing now? Can you please explain me what is distance vector routing? Please don't do the comparison right now between distance vector and link state. Please explain me what is distance vector routing, and then I will show you the problem. There is one issue in the distance vector routing, but if the distance vector routing is not known to you, then you will not be able to explain me that issue. I will show you this slide in which the issue or the topology is, or that topology will be shown to you, and you have to identify that issue. So can you please tell me how the distance vector routing algorithm works? How the distance vector routing algorithm works? So I have marked your attendance. Can you please tell me how the distance vector routing algorithm works? If we go into the theory part, then this presentation, it is not providing the clear-cut idea about how the distance vector routing works and how the link state routing works. I'm talking about the contents of the presentation PPT. But based on our discussion, I think you have the idea now that in distance vector routing, neighbor routers are considered for sending the routing table, and periodic timer is considered for sending the routing table again next time. So A has sent the routing table, then A will wait for periodic timer to expire. After 5 seconds, A will send the routing table again. After 5 seconds, A will send the routing table again. So this is distance vector routing now. Refer the PPT, refer the slide which is available on your screen. Count to infinity problem. This problem is associated with distance vector routing only. This problem is not there. It is not associated with link state routing. So in distance vector routing, you may find count to infinity problem. And what is count to infinity problem? For that, refer this slide and please tell me something about what is count to infinity problem.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please.
So in this topology, B is connected with C and B has the information about the C. And after the transfer of the routing tables, A will also have the all the information about C. But if the link between B and C gets broke or disconnected, then also there will be a information of the C link to the A router. And it will be the false information because we are currently disconnected. But still the because of the distance vectors are shared in the topology, then we will have false information about the C.
Correct. So in count to infinity problem, actually, see the problem is what? A, B and C are connected. Okay, don't think about the disconnection between B and C right now. A is connected with B, B is connected with C. So if we apply distance vector routing algorithm over here, then A will send the routing table to B. B will send the routing table to A and C because the neighbor router of B, they are A and C. So B will send routing table to A and C. C will send routing table to B. So the point is A has informed its routing table to B. B is connected with C and A. So initially A is knowing B is there, okay, because directly connected routers are known. Directly connected routers are known to the router. So A is knowing that B is there. So in the routing table of A, information about B is present. B is knowing that A and C are there because A and C are the directly connected routers for B. So B has information about A and C. C has the information about B. Now B has informed that you can reach to C via me, okay, via B or via me. The point is A has the information about C now. B has the information about C because B is directly connected, but A is indirectly connected. Now if the link between B and C goes down and before the information from B is sent to A, before B sends the routing table to A is sending routing table to B that I have the link available via which you can reach at C. Okay. B knows that C is a directly connected router with B. So B knows that I cannot reach to C directly. But A is sending false information to B that you can reach to C because in A, previous entry related with C is available. Let me repeat. B and C are disconnected, but A is sending the false information to B that C is available. C is available or C is connected in the topology. B assumes that I am not able to reach at C directly, but A has some information. A has some path. So B is updating the routing table. B updates the routing table and it will append the entry that if B wants to reach at C, then B can send data to A. Now A is again updating the routing table and A assumes that B has some link. B assumes that A has some link, but actually the link is not there. Okay. So A is updating the routing table, B is updating the routing table, again A is updating the routing table. So there is a loop created between A and B because A has sent false information, wrong information to B initially. B assumes that A has path, A assumes that B has path. Routing tables are frequently sent between A and B to A and A to B. This is known as count to infinity problem. Actually, C is not reachable. C is not reachable, but A and B are assuming that there is some path through which B can reach at C and A can reach at C. So this is known as count to infinity problem. Now, if you have any query, any question related with count to infinity problem, then you can ask me. Why this problem arises? Why it is associated with distance vector routing only? Why this problem is not associated? Why this problem will not occur in the link state routing? Do you have any answer for this? In link state routing, this problem will not occur. B is assuming that A has path, A is assuming that B has path, and they are exchanging, they keep on exchanging the routing table and they keep on updating the cost value. But actually there is no path and sending routing table from A to B, B to A, A to B, B to A. This is known as count to infinity because after exchanging 100 routing table, 100 times routing table, 200 times routing table, actually A and B are not able to reach at C, and that's why this problem is known as count to infinity. So any question, any query in the count to infinity problem, why it is associated with distance vector, why it is not associated with link state? If we apply link state over here, then what will happen? Can you please tell me, if I apply link state routing, then what will happen if the link between C and B and C goes down? If I apply link state, then what will happen? Please tell me. Then I can end the session. If I apply link state routing over here, then whenever the link between B and C goes down, it is one event or not, networking event or not, topological change.
Yes, sir.
So if the link between B and C goes down, immediately B will inform this to A that path to C is not available, and A will update the routing table. A will remove the entry of the routing. A will remove the entry of about C in the routing table, because as and when the event occurs, as and when the link goes down, immediately B will inform this to A. B will not wait for any periodic timer, because it is link state routing algorithm. It is following link state routing algorithm. Immediately B will inform this to A, because in link state routing algorithm, routing table is sent whenever some event occurs. And in distance vector routing, A, B and C, they are waiting for the periodic timer. Immediately they cannot inform. And that's why count to infinity problem is there. It is associated with distance vector routing only. I hope that I have cleared the difference between distance vector and link state, and I hope that I have explained you properly count to infinity problem. Any question, any query?
No, sir.
Okay, so let me stop the recording, and I have already marked your attendance. So you have next session scheduled at 11:15, I think. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining this session. Now you can leave. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.